All right, so here I am, first time at World Expo 2022. I got the date right. And I think they are hiding, look, they're really hiding. You don't have to hide.
Not anymore.
So this is mine. So this is Mindworks. And I was called along to present my works here in conjunction with these marvelous miniatures. And for the first time in my life, I have seen a change from little tin soldiers to these massive, incredible fantasy replicas that I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine was possible when I was a kid. It's just marvelous. It's opened my eyes completely. Yeah, I've had plenty of fans come up, which is incredible because most of your life as an artist, you're just basically alone in your room. And just the sense of love that you get from people is quite overwhelming, you know? And I'm just an ordinary guy, but I feel like a god when I'm here. That's the difference, you know? But it's wonderful. It's wonderful to see like-minded people and to enter a world that I just didn't know existed. It's an incredible experience. So many different feelings. The first one is I can't believe they've done it. I just can't believe that they can take a 2D image and make it into a three-dimensional thing. So when I was first asked, can we use your two-dimensional drawings? That wasn't the question, but the question was, can we use your drawings to become figurines? I went, well, how are you going to do the back? And I thought I was going to have to draw the back again, and really wasn't interested in doing that. And so when I asked that question, the answer came back, don't worry about that. I was amazed because the expertise that was required to do that is sensational. And so, you know, I had hopes for it. You know, I know technology's changed a lot, but I still know an artist has to put the input in because we see models and they're not as great as these models. So obviously the artists are interpreting it, what I've done, and improving on it to a high degree, actually, at sometimes. So I'm amazed by it. I'm stunned by it. The difference with a 3D object coming from a 2D object and all the problems inherent in that, it takes a mind that is just incredible. And the mind actually is at work right over there. What if I was to take one of these things? Bloodstone. So here's bloodstone, and if we come over here and have a look at bloodstone, we only see that much, and yet the artist had to. That shield was only shown from that position, and the artist had to interpret all of this at the back. That's what amazed me. I didn't think that was possible, and he's done it in such a wonderful way. So for me, with the 2D artwork, the artist came back, or Mario did, and says, what is your input? What would you like the artist to do? I said, just be free. I don't want the artist to be burdened by anything I say, and let them interpret, because I knew it would be a stiff sculpture if I was to put anything into it, change this arm or leg. So I'm happy. I think it's an amazing collaboration that I can leave it in the hands of another artist and be surprised myself at just how wonderful it is, because it's not always that kind of surprise. Yeah, you've got to think about a couple of things, because I've been asking those very questions myself. Like, for instance, if we light this from a certain position, do we actually have to paint in the darks to find the shadows? That's the first question I asked. Or do we just put in a flesh tone? Just find the average flesh tone, say somewhere in here, paint the whole thing solid, and then let the light sort that out. But what I've been discovering is that artists are actually creating light with paint. Like, they'll put a glow of orange in here, for instance, and then the light in itself is in the sculpture. And the problems that we have to think about then is, if, let's say, if we painted light in here and then we lit it from here, we'd have a reverse light. And how does that work? So my mind has to get around the fact that not only have you got to invent light, but you've got to take this sculpture, I think anyhow, and put it in the same kind of light for it to make sense. So those kind of things, they must be in the sculptor's mind all the time. For me, I've just got to work with a 2D image, and for me it seems awful simple compared to what these guys have got to do next. So it's incredible. But what a great challenge for anyone that wants to, you know, become an artist by osmosis. You know, have a look at my art, paint what you see, and then expand on it when you start to get more and more confident. If this was around when I was a child, I would have been just in love with it. I am in love with it, but as a child, I would have been in the model shops every day if it was this quality. But when I was a kid, it was just little soldiers, and you can see all the joins. You know, if you put a soldier down like that, he would fall over because the joint underneath. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just quality, isn't it? Just superb. Wonderful. I love it. I think it's fabulous. Well, that goes back to the first question about, you know, when people come up and they say, I love your work. You know, we were the freaky artists in the basements. You know, we never thought we'd come out one day and there would be other people of our ilk that would come up and say, I really love what you do. You know, it's a great affirmation after being the freaky guy in the basement. You know, when we were in school, we weren't the cool kids, you know, and now we're the cool older kids. So it's great, you know. So yeah, it's a term of endearment, nerd. But I think there's a relaxed camaraderie here. We all know who we are. We all know the basements we came from, and now we're in this big place together, feeling safe about it, and safe to talk about it. So yeah, it's wonderful. It's beautiful. Beautiful thing. I'd like to invite you to Kontrast 2023 in Warsaw, where I will be exhibiting and demoing my artistic skills, and would love to see you there.